Good morning, children. The lesson that we are going to study today is what happened to the reptiles. Okay? So, before we read the lesson, let me introduce it to you. Pambupatti is a peaceful village. Okay? Pambupatti is the name of a village. It's a peaceful village. Peaceful means calm, quiet. Okay? Calm and quiet. Now, inhabited by a variety of people. Inhabited means dwelled. To dwell. To inhabit means to dwell. It is people, variety of people dwell here. Variety means different. Okay. Now, Prem, the narrator of the story, flees his village under unfortunate conditions. Unfortunate means unlucky. Something unlucky happened with him. So, Prem, who is the narrator of the story, who is the narrator? The storyteller. Story writer, the one who writes the story or tells the story, writes or tells the story is a narrator. So, Prem flees away. Flees away means ran away from his village, from Pambupatti, under some unlucky conditions and reached from his village. He ran away and reached Pambupatti. Pambupatti is a peaceful village, and Prem's village had some unlucky situations, because of which Prem had to leave his village and go to Pambupatti. And he did not know where he was going before reaching Pambupatti. Suddenly, by chance, he reached Pambupatti. An old resident of the village looks after him and tells him an interesting story. An old resident is a dweller, a person who lived there. An old inhabitant of that village took care of him, looked after him, means took care. उसकी देखभाल करते हैं जब वो वहाँ पहुँचता है. And he, this old resident, told him an interesting story too. You may not believe the story, but I can tell you it is true, because I have been to Pambupatti. So, the narrator is saying, the storyteller, Prem, is saying that if I tell you the story, you may not believe it. The story is incredible, unbelievable. But I tell you it is true. I assure you. I tell you means I assure you that this story is true, because I have been to Pambupatti, because I have myself gone to that place, a village on the edge of the jungle. Edge means on the boundaries, borders. On the borders of the jungle, there was a village. This village, Pambupatti, was on the border of the jungle. If it is on a cliff, and the vast forest stretches below like a mossy green carpet. So the village is on a cliff. Here is the village, and the vast forest stretches down the hill, and it seems like a carpet of moss. Moss, हरियाली होती है, greenery. The carpet of greenery is stretched below. There are many kinds of people in the village. So many kinds of people live in the village. Some are dark, fair, tall, short. Variety. I told you in the introduction that a variety of people live there. They speak many languages. Some eat meat, some don't. Some people eat meat, others don't. Mean some are vegetarians, some are non-vegetarians. Okay, so they eat this meat and some don't. Some pray in a small temple at the edge of the forest. So you know the people of which religion pray in a temple? Hinduism. People practicing Hinduism, they pray in a temple, and others pray in a mosque. Mosque is a place of worship for the people who practice Islam. Okay, so there are varieties of people belonging to different religion, different looking. Okay, now my name is Prem, he said, and I live many hundred miles away from Pambupatti. He lived before many hundred miles away from Pambupatti in a village. I had heard about the village, but I had never been there. He had heard about Pambupatti when he was in his own village, 100 miles away, but he had never been there before this unlucky incident. Then last year, something terrible happened. Terrible means horrible, fearsome. Okay? Something fearsome happened. Fearsome. Terrible means fearsome, horrible. The people of my own village went mad. They went mad, they went crazy. Now let's see in what way they all went crazy. Far, far away in a place they have never been to, a temple or mosque had been burnt down. Far, far away means at a great distance, in a far off place, a temple was burnt or a mosque was burnt. Something had happened. He was not sure whether a temple or a mosque, but something happened and they went mad. They all went crazy. They started fighting with one another. Some had to run away in the middle of the night, and at 3 in the morning, as I lay in my house, some were running away. Some people, when the village people started fighting, some people started to flee from the village, to run away from the village in the middle of the night. And at 3 in the morning, as I lay in my house, half awake to the sounds of hate and violence, there was a fire. So early morning, at around 3, he was lying on his bed. He was hearing the sounds of hatred and silence, and he was half awake. Means he was subconscious, not completely conscious. आधी नींद में था वो, ठीक है, subconscious. When he was half awake, he heard the sound of hatred and violence. Violence is bloodshed, anger, agitation, okay? So this is violence. And hatred means it's the opposite of love, nafrat, grina. And there was a fire there. Many houses were burned down in the fire. One of them was mine. Mine means my house. One house which was burnt by this fire was my house too. So it was something not lucky, it was something unlucky to have happened to him. There was no mistake of Prem in this entire scenario, but he was the sufferer. I managed to grab a few clothes, some coins, my little Ganesh statue, and I ran. I ran for a day and a night, resting where my legs would not carry me any further. So he kept on running, only resting when he felt very tired. When his legs could not carry means they were tired, legs were tired, only then he rested. And I jumped on a train. Finally he got a train and boarded on it. Then on a bus, no tickets. And he had very less belonging, that was few clothes, some coins and a little Ganesh statue. That is why he could not buy any ticket, but he said never mind. Everyone seemed to be running. So it was not a big deal not to buy a ticket that time, because it was more important to save one's life than to be able to follow the laws and rules. So everybody seemed to be running. All were running, it was seeming. सब अपनी जान बचा बचा के भाग रहे हैं. Finally, I found myself in Pambupatti and I saw some villagers gathered near a well. I found myself in Pambupatti. Finally, he reached this place. I saw some villagers gathered near a well. People were gathered around a well. Well समझते हैं कुआं. कुएं के इर्द गिर्द काफ़ी सारे लोग जमा हुए थे. And what they were talking? Let's find out. As soon as he reached there, I ran to them, and before I could say a thing, I fainted. Fainted means became unconscious, behosh ho jana. Okay? Before he could say anything, reaching at the well, maybe he was asking for water. Maybe he would ask for water, but before that he fainted. When I opened my eyes, I saw an old man with white hair, white beard and shining black eyes bending over me. When he opened his eyes, he saw an old man. He had white hair, white beard, shining black eyes. He was bending over him. Bending over him means he had curved his back and was taking care of him maybe. For the next few days, he looked after me, putting food in my mouth and bringing me sweet, cool water from the stream. For next few days, till he became better, this old man, took care of him. He put food in his mouth and also brought him cool, sweet water from the nearby stream. He rubbed my feet gently and made the pain go away. He would rub his feet to make him feel comfortable, to make him feel better because he was not well. Neighbors, strangers, everyone came to visit me. In that stranger's house, that strange old man's house, everybody came to visit. Even strangers. Strangers means unknown people. Neighbors, padosi, theek hai? Tell me, grandfather, I said to him one day, I have never seen people like the villagers here. He said to the old man, grandfather. He addressed him as grandfather. Tell me, I have never seen people in my whole life like the people of this village. This was Pambupatti. In my village, people fight with those who pray to another god. So, on the name of religion, my villages fight. He said that, but here there's no fight. But here this seems a very strange place. He found this place strange. उसे ये जगह अजीब सी लगती है, odd. Okay? Because he had never seen such a place in his life. Prem, replied the old man, I will tell you the story of Pambupatti. You can take this story back to your village. Maybe it will heal some of its wounds and dry some of its sores. Sores are injuries. Wounds are also injuries. So maybe some of its wounds will be healed through this story of mine. I'm going to tell you a story. The story of Pambupatti. Okay. Let's find out what the story is about. Oh, grandfather, I said anxiously, don't say that. What I have seen in my village makes me burn with shame. I never want to go back there. So when the grandfather told that when you go back to your village, you can tell the story of Pambupatti to them, Prem replied, oh grandfather, don't say that. I don't want to go to my village. I've seen in my village, what I've seen in my village makes me burn with shame. I'm ashamed of my villages, of the people of my village. I don't want to go back. I never want to go back there, he said. See, so much fear he has in his heart regarding the place that he never wants to face it again. But that's exactly why you must go back, grandfather said. This is the only reason you have to go back. You don't want to go, so you have to go back to make it a place worth visiting. He said in a soft voice. I kept quiet. This was a very soft, polite, soothing voice. So Prem kept quiet and listened to him. I did not want to argue with him. Okay, no arguments, no more further discussions he wanted to have about it. So he kept quiet. And I wanted to hear the story of Pambupatti. Okay.